As far as the Washington Post, though, conversely, I think not only does Kim Mulkey owe the Washington Post and Kent Babb an apology, she owes them a thank you. Because that was a damn good article. Does that mean that a profile, takeout? It wasn't a hit piece, it wasn't a takedown, it was what we call a takeout. And for me, it was as thorough as it could possibly be without talking to the subject. And you and I talked about how to go about doing a profile of somebody that won't cooperate with the process. She told us, they've been trying to interview me for 2 years. Okay? But you know what he didn't do? At least from what I could tell, I didn't see him grind an axe. I didn't see Kent Babb make it personal. I didn't see him let her lack of cooperation, I didn't see him let that affect his reporting and how he framed the article. I thought it was balanced. I thought it was fair. There was nothing surprising. There were some problematic things. We know what they are. You know, the way she dealt with gay players or just some of her tactics, to name a few. But nothing surprising, nothing that we didn't expect to know about Kim Mulkey. But it was also very revealing. Her family dynamic. Yeah, that was very informative when it comes to how she deals with Brittany Griner and other players in her program, and how she's moved over the years, how she deals with the media. I said last week when we talked about the article coming out, I talked about leadership being lonely. I thought it was fitting that the last image of the piece was her walking through the tunnel alone. You know, it was very well done, and I'm sure she wasn't happy or pleased with everything that was included in it. I'm sure if she had her way, it would have been one-sided in the opposite direction. It was fair, it was balanced, it was thorough, it was a revealing, though not surprising, look at a very complicated and complex figure who has her supporters and has her critics, as anybody that's done anything has. So
for a long time, especially doing it for as long as she has.
For as long as she has. Talk about much ado about nothing. Her going in on the Washington Post, because there can't be anything that's libelous or lawsuit worthy, because all the I's were dotted, surprise, surprise, and T's crossed by an institution like the Washington Post. And in fact, most of the information, not most of it, a whole bunch of the information
came from her.
Came from her. Or came from her memoir, or Brittany Griner's memoir, or other. It was sourced. It was perfectly and accurately sourced. So, she'll never own up to the fact that she went too far. But I enjoyed the piece. Yeah. I really enjoyed the piece. I thought it was very well done.
Okay, journalistically, yes. Journalistically, yeah. I'll get back to that. Journalistically, yes, I did enjoy it, but I'm going to tag on to that in a second. But I just thought about
this. That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Challenge me on this. I don't think there's anyone, because Kim Mulkey has some problematic behaviors. There's no question about that with some of their players. Right. Some of the comments that she makes to them. Hey, why do you dress like a boy? And, we can't have that at this, we can't have that at this institution, or, keep that quiet. I don't want you to bring it up.
Yourself. Yeah,
and even when people say that, they don't understand how they think they're being evolved and enlightened when they say that. Hey, why we got to talk about it? Well, okay. When we go to a work function, when there's a family picnic, bring your kids to work day or bring your kids to the picnic, and I come with my wife and my kids, you don't say keep that to yourself, do you? I'm pretty much putting my sexuality out there, aren't I? When I say,
I'm bringing my whole self to work, aren't I? Yeah.
And these,
but because it doesn't align with your value system, it's problematic. Yeah, of course.
So you don't say keep that to yourself, but when somebody does something that you don't agree with, hey, why we got to talk about it? Because it's
hypocrisy.
Me. Because it's me. All right. Why are you putting that all in my face?
So what am I supposed to challenge?
Right. So no, but not that part. Challenge me on that.
I'm about to say, okay.
No, I was going to say, she's got her problematic behaviors. What I was going to get to is that there are coaches. I can't think of a single great coach who doesn't have a very structured, very challenging, make you uncomfortable in the game itself. The game itself, value system.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think there's a great coach
who's going to find your limit and then push you past it.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then whose
And
players are going to swear by her. Because, I mean, like, I wonder
that's the through line of great coaches.
I wonder
in
what
any
Reese
sport.
and Van Lith and Johnson, I wonder what they would say. I'm sure I would have to wonder. It's probably all on record, but privately even, about what Kim Mulkey has meant to their careers. Or go back to
fascinating.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating to me that on one hand, it's like I could feel the judgment and the chill of Kim Mulkey, especially at Baylor. You know, a very like this Baptist institution that defines marriage in a certain way and relationships in a certain way. And if you don't feel that way, I feel the chill of that player who's got to function in that environment. On one hand, so don't like that. But I'm also fascinated by the detail of, hey, she grabbed that same player, grabbed the jersey and said, if you can get past this point, if you can push past this point, you'll be an All-American. Woo! Oh, man, that's motivation. That's motivation. That gave me chills right there. Like, okay, I don't think I can go any further than this, but you think I can. Let's see if I can get there. And she did. She did get there. She did become an All-American. So I think there are a lot of coaches like that. We were talking about the dynasty earlier in Bill Belichick. Some of his players didn't like his tactics, but he had a structure. Right. He had a system, and the system
moral
worked.
Of the story
brought in.
They get results. They get results, but at what cost?
Okay, now here's my pushback on what you said about the story. Kim Mulkey, I wouldn't be giving an apology from my position as a journalist.
She also did him a favor. She also did him a favor.
Yeah. Yeah, right. She did.
Right. Which we talked about.
Journalist, professor, well done. A work. If I'm Kim Mulkey, I'm really uncomfortable with it. Because if I haven't talked to my father in 30 plus years, and I haven't talked to my sister in many years,
why would she talk to me?
This stuff, and you bringing this stuff up again, I know I brought it up before. I brought it up.
Well, wait a minute. Stop right there. It's public domain, number one. Number two, her father talked and her sister talked.
I know.
So wait a second. So that, and it's also, again, very enlightening and informative about how she moved. Because it's like, okay, if you're not talking to your own father and your sister, then we know who else you'll cut off if necessary. So
that's right.
I mean, but it wasn't from a place of judgment. I wasn't reading that. Right. So isn't that the job of the reporter, to inform? And those anecdotes, those aspects of Kim Mulkey informed me about who she is as a person and a coach.
Did his job. The reporter did his job in an excellent way. But if I'm not saying I do it, but I understand. Kim Mulkey, I understand.
Yeah.
Understand why she was uncomfortable with that thought.
No.
It could have been a number of things. It could have been the player saying, "Hey, she didn't respect my humanity." That could have made her uncomfortable. She didn't know where that was going to go, or she got a tip that he did talk to her father and her family.
Sister. Yeah, sure.
And what are they going to say? I haven't talked to him in 37 years. What's he going to say?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her. That's different from a hit piece. Again, when she's addressed it.
Well,
when she's
I don't
addressed
know.
it. You know. Well, listen.
I don't know.
Like I said earlier.
It depends on what
there are things I'm sure. Her preference would not have been those. I'm sure that those elements were included in the story. But what I will say is, going back to what I was talking about like really getting beyond this idea of good for the women's game. Like, you can't have it both ways. Okay. The Washington Post did a comprehensive profile on Kim Mulkey. You can't then say, cover us, but only cover us according to the way we want to be covered. Cover us, but only play with kid gloves. It's like, okay, we're going to cover you like the marquee box office attractions that you are. Somebody may do a comprehensive profile of you that's going to be balanced, fair, and complicated. The way we're supposed to cover all athletes. We're not supposed to write, milk and cookies
Flowery.
story
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Kim Mulkey when you are a complicated figure, when you have rubbed some people the wrong way or done things that are problematic. He still gave her props. So all I'm saying is, like, if she wants to control that narrative, she could have easily participated in the interview. She chose not to. He did his job,
even if she had
which is to
controlled that,
cover her fairly. That was all he was obligated to do.
even if she had participated, she still wouldn't have controlled the narrative. So I think I think the problem is
That's fair.
that she was
No,
not in
that's fair.
control. You got to it.
Right.
She wasn't in control. And I just think, just to be even more fair, look, I haven't cut off anybody in my family, but I'd imagine if I hadn't talked to somebody for 10 years and a reporter reaches out to them, yeah, I might be a little nervous about what that person is going to say, especially since I'm not going to come to correct any kind of stories. So yeah, I mean that's
and you know what else it did? And again, like, there was some uncomfortable, problematic, flat out damning accusations when it came to her character. But you know what else this article succeeded in accomplishing? It humanized her. It humanized her, because who among us does not have complicated family dynamics? Not to say you've cut somebody over. I've cut somebody off. Not speaking.
Say it again, preacher.
Like that
Say it
is
again.
like universal. It's universal.
Yeah.
I didn't just enjoy the story from a journalistic standpoint. I enjoyed it because it was a complete story. It was complete. It was like it had her flaws, her strengths, her highs, her lows, her critics, her cheerleaders, all of it.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.